It is said that during the Yuanfeng period of the Song dynasty, there was a scholar named Li Teng from Jiangnan province who went to the capital to take the exam. On the way to the capital, Li Teng was determined to break the boat and only prepared the travel expenses for the exam. Vowed to be named on the gold list. Reluctant to perform abnormally, he failed the exam and ran out of travel expenses. But there was still more than 1,000 miles to go home. And after only 2 days of walking, Li Teng was already so hungry that his stomach was growling. While he was upset, Li Teng unknowingly came to the courtyard of a wealthy family with high walls. Looking at the high walls and deep courtyard, Li Teng became more and more aggrieved. He thought to himself that, if he succeeds in this exam, how could I not be able to make my family famous? Suddenly, Li Teng found that there were several big pear trees in the courtyard. The pears were already ripe and densely hung on the branches. The breeze blows, and the tempting fragrance hits. Li Teng couldn't help cheering up, and frowned thoughtfully. At this moment, a man with the appearance of a rich man walked out of the gate. He looked about 30 years old, followed by a beautiful woman in yellow. With the love flowing in the woman's beautiful eyes, these two must be the masters of this house. After looking at the couple for a while, Li Teng's gloomy eyes suddenly filled with light, and he secretly rejoiced, I have something to eat today. So, he hurried forward and bowed to the rich man and his wife very politely. The rich man was not displeased. On the contrary, seeing Li Teng's handsome features, he guessed that he was a scholar, so he replied politely. Seeing the rich man's polite appearance, Li Teng asked further questions. My lord, my name is Li Teng. I'm a scholar who was going to the capital to take the exam. I passed by your mansion just as I was hungry and thirsty. Can you give me a few pears to try? The rich man clasped his hands and said with a smile, So you are Mr. Li, sorry. After speaking, he politely invited Li Teng to the mansion as a guest. After some chatting, Li Teng learned that the rich man's name was Zhang Dong, and he was also a scholar. Zhang's family is a scholarly family, and Zhang Dong has obtained fame many years ago, but Zhang Dong's ambition is to travel around the world with his childhood sweetheart wife. So he resigned from office to become a businessman. It just so happened that he was resting in his hometown for the past few months, and it was a rare fate to meet Li Teng. After eating a few pears, Li Teng suddenly felt much refreshed, and his body also gained strength. Before leaving, he rolled his eyes and said to rich man Zhang, My lord, your mansion is surrounded by mountains and rivers. The back mountain is majestic and looks like a dragon and a tiger. This is a place of prosperity. But it's just. After Li Teng finished speaking, he looked hesitant to speak. After hearing this, rich man Zhang was overjoyed. Could it be that Mr. Li is proficient in feng shui? Li Teng nodded slightly. It's not proficient, but I asked a feng shui master for a few years ago, and I just understand a little bit. After listening to these words, Mr. Zhang hurriedly invited Li Teng into the mansion again, and asked the servants to bring tea and fruit to entertain the guests. Li Teng smiled and continued, The mansion is really nice, but what? The rich man Zhang asked again. Wealth is good but lack of popularity. Li Teng said it right. Rich Zhang sighed a lot when he heard it. Hey, my life has been smooth and smooth. I got a job at a young age, and my business is also smooth sailing. The speed of money entering my pocket is like a flood. But the other side is helpless. The wife is not up to date. She hasn't given birth to a child for 10 years. Before the rich man finished speaking, he seemed to think of something, and suddenly his eyes flashed. Please Mr. Li, give me some advice. Zhang is very grateful. Li Teng didn't panic, and thought for a moment. Pointing to the backyard, He said, the solution is also simple, since your mansion is rich and blocked the popularity. At midnight tonight, Li Teng worked hard for a while, heading south of your mansion, and buried 10 taels of silver every 100 feet, and it was enough to bury the 100 taels of silver, implying the perfection of 10 times 10. Of course, although you are young, Mr. Zhang, you still have to pay attention to your body. Find a peaceful and quiet place to cultivate for a month, and you will definitely be able to hug your big fat son. After hearing this, rich man Zhang was convinced, and quickly ordered his servants to give Li Teng 100 taels of silver, and another 10 taels of silver to express his gratitude. Li Teng waved away the 10 taels of silver and said, "It's not too late to get the money after finishing the work." After the conversation, the two men bid farewell. Rich man Zhang took his wife back to his room to rest, while Li Teng waited in the courtyard for dark. However, before midnight, Li Teng sneaked away in the dark with the 100 taels of silver. Later generations said that this talented scholar was so courageous that he dared to cheat money like this. Isn't he afraid of being spotted by the rich man? Some people also said that this scholar is really smart. And the gardens of ordinary people can't wait until the branches are covered with ripe pears, and they have been picked long ago. In addition, the scholar also understands medical principles. He saw the rich man's complexion is sallow, and his wife is beautiful. It must be because of excessive sexual intercourse, and running the business consumes energy, which is why the population is not prosperous. The next day, when rich man Zhang found out that Li Teng, a scholar, was a liar, he was so angry that his teeth itched. But after calming down, he thought carefully about what the scholar said, and he also felt that it made sense. Although I am young, I still have to pay attention to my body and not overwork. So, he looked for a clean place and recuperated for a month. 3 months later, his wife was pregnant, and half a year later, his wife gave birth to a 9-pound eldest son. This made him overjoyed, and he no longer held any grudges against the scholar Li Teng. 2 years later, Mrs. Zhang gave birth to a boy-girl twins again, and the family of 5 enjoyed themselves happily. Rich Zhang even felt a little grateful for this deceitful scholar Li. Scholar Li took the 100 taels of silver and returned home smoothly. The next time he went to the capital to take the exam, his name finally appeared on the gold list. Li Teng later became a high official. But every time I think about the defrauding of money back then, it is really embarrassing, so I never dare to see Zhang Dong and his family again. He has been secretly supporting the Zhang family's business in order to repay the Zhang family's kindness. In order to solve the urgent need, the down scholar also solved the problem that the rich man's family could not continue the incense when he cheated. Although Scholar Li is suspected of deceiving others to satisfy his own selfishness, he is not an evil person. The generous and rich man is kind and helpful. Although he was cheated out of money, he got the fat son he was most looking forward to, and he got twins of dragon and phoenix again. The family is happy. This is Good Man Rewarded.